I was assaulted on Wednesday evening. I left Thursday morning. We spoke all day Friday, and he passed away on Saturday. So this video is about why I stayed and why I chose to leave. The Cassie and Diddy video was very triggering for me because I have endured a lot of abuse in my romantic life, um, various types of abuse. But for the purpose of this video, I'm only going to be talking about my deceased fiance. Um, I knew him from when I was younger, and we reconnected as adults, and there was something different about him. We could talk about anything. And although I'm formally educated and he was not formally educated, he was one of the smartest people I ever met. And I am attracted to intelligence. So there was that. Um, he was kind and he captured my heart. I fell in love very quickly. And I knew it was a God thing. Even though at the moment that we connected and I could tell I was falling for him, I did not necessarily believe in God. I believed in just something. I kept saying, this is a God thing because I had never met and connected with anyone on such a spiritual level. Um, a man that shared similar interests that I could talk to, that I felt safe enough to be myself with, a man who didn't mind if I said, hey, I kind of don't like it when you do that. Instead of gaslighting me or trying to be dismissive, he would take that and he'd say, you know what? That wasn't okay with me. I apologize. I'm gonna try to do better. I really appreciated that about him. Um, he pointed out various things about people in my life that I didn't realize, people that I cared about and loved. And he pointed out, these people really aren't down for you. And I didn't see it until he pointed it out. He said, as soon as I can afford to buy you a ring, I'm going to marry you. And I said, I don't need a ring. That's a waste of money. And he's like, well, what do you need? I said, just ask the question. And he did. And it was beautiful. And when I said yes, I didn't say yes because I wanted to be married. I said yes because I wanted to marry him. There was something special about him. If it was all about being someone's wife or wedding, I could have been married. I would have been unhappily married. And I felt God had put this man in my life and so we would be happily married. We were back and forth between, my small little town and Knoxville. And as much as we tried to make a way for him to be able to move to my town or at least back to Virginia, that just was not happening. And I did not feel comfortable leaving my fiance by himself because he was having mental episodes. And I was very worried that something bad was going to happen if someone wasn't around. And it didn't bother me that he had mental episodes, have mental illness in the family. Um, and I had already made a commitment to love, honor, and cherish this man till death us do part. We just hadn't said those words before anyone. For me, it was already a done deal in sickness and in health. And he was in sickness, and I was just going to be there for him. That's what he needed from me. And so we went to Tennessee, and his behavior became abusive. Um, he started calling me names. He did start gaslighting me, saying it was my fault he was treating me the way he did. He became paranoid and accused me of stealing his money only to find his money after I was gone. I'd leave a room. Um, he accused me of lying. Um, he thought that somehow me liking a guy's post on Facebook meant something, that, perhaps I was cheating on him, and there was none of that. He even thought, you know, because I friended a male cousin of his, that I might end up being seduced by this cousin and have something with that guy. And there was never a chance of that either. The abuse became worse and worse as he continued to be unmedicated. Um, we did try to get him some help. He was hospitalized, um, only for the medication to wind up missing. Um, it was tough. He would yell, he'd rant and rave, um, and he was a big guy, and it was scary. But I was there until I wasn't. Like I said, I made that commitment. And then there came a point when I asked myself, are you happy? Because it doesn't seem like he is going to change back into the man you fell in love with. And I kept holding out for hope that, if we could just get the medication in him, if he could just be stabilized, and continue to take his medication, then he would be fine. But that wasn't what happened. He talked to me about how much he missed his cousin. And this cousin had caused a lot of trouble, drama, had told lies to him about me, had told me lies about him, and I believe they were lies because I know she was lying about me. Had lied to family members of mine, and they made decisions that crossed boundaries because of her lies. And I just said, look, that's your cousin, you know, and of course you love your cousin, and of course you miss your cousin. Call your cousin. I don't want anything to do with her. But that's your family. Go ahead and make peace with her. And he did. And he was happy. And we had talked about his behavior, and we had a code word for when his behavior got out of hand, because he didn't believe some of the things I would tell him after his episode ended. And he started up on me, and uh, I just ignored him, and I used the code word, and it didn't work. And I said, well, I said to myself, I didn't say it to him. He was busy ranting and raving. I can't do this anymore. I don't I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I'm not staying here with this guy dealing with this. I I deserve better. And he filmed himself getting in my face, yelling at me. He sent it to that cousin who passed it around to people in my family. I'm sure people in her family, her friends, whoever. I don't know. And I just I was I was just done. I went to sleep. I let him just rant and rave. I went to sleep. And I woke up, and I got his phone. I looked in it, and he's sitting there talking about me to this cousin that I encouraged him to get back in touch with. Just talking trash. And I, I was I was upset. Was ticked off. Like, you know, it, he had called me out my name. He had gotten in my face. He had, yelled, ranted, and raved, and threatened me, and accused me of this and that. But don't put my name in your mouth, okay? That's like one of the things I can't put up with overall. That's like deal breaker. Mm-mm. Nope. Nope. Now it's time for us to have a conversation. I woke him up, and I confronted him. He was like, "Oh, that conversation? I was just mad." And I threw his phone on the bed. I tossed it on the bed, and I said, "Oh, you're mad? Well, now I'm mad." And he got up, and this small dude, he was a big dude. Um, he got up, and I sat down. I'm gonna teach this to be like Mike. And he starts going off again over some mess. And then he called me the B word. And I was good. I had told him earlier not to call me out my name again. And he did it again. And I straightened up my back, and I said, I told you not to call me. Uh, and before I could get the word out of my mouth, that's when he backhanded me. And I had been hit before. It had been a very long time. Um, but it was very unexpected coming from him. One of his core values was not to be abusive to women. And I I mean, literally, he talked about men who abused women and how wrong it was and how disgusting it was and how men who abused women were not real men. And I mean, it was a core value. And so when he did that, I knew that I needed to leave like ASAP. Because if he can go against everything that he stands for in the midst of an argument, then what else can I expect from this man? What, I mean, I was shocked. What else is there about him that he is willing to do that I don't know about? And I wasn't willing to find out. I got up, I left. I had nowhere to go. I had a flat tire. He tried to follow me, but I was a lot quicker than he was. And I got in my car, and me and that flat tire car drove up the street because I didn't have anywhere else to go. And um, I I waited about an hour, and I went back to the room, and I went to sleep, and that was Wednesday. Thursday, I called one of my two bridesmaids, and I called to tell her not to buy her bridesmaid's dress. She's a teacher. Teachers don't make a lot of money. And in Virginia, they only get paid once a month. And she was about to purchase her dress. And I didn't want her to waste money because I knew I was not marrying that man. I knew God brought him in my life. I knew that, we were together for a reason. But for right now, we would not be together. If we got back together, that would be a God thing too. But for right now, I was out. And I told her what was going on. And she was like, "You gotta go." And I just did what she told me. She gave me a gift. She told me exactly what I needed to do. I didn't even know why she was asking me the question she was. She was like, "Where are you? What's the location? What's it look like?" She wanted to know all of this information about where I was. And from what little I gave her, she called the police. And when they pulled up, I mean, there were three cars. I was shocked and devastated. I was speaking to my dad on the phone, and I was like, he's going to be so mad at me. He's he's gonna hate me. And he's like, he hates you now. He hit you. And I was like, you just don't understand. We know all the same people, his family, my family, we all know each other. These people are going to hate me if this man gets arrested and goes to jail. He said, don't worry about it. My friend said, don't worry about it. And the police asked me, what happened. They talked to him and they talked to me. And yelling out, "Why'd you say I hit you?" I had all of his things. I left them in the tire repair shop. They were very kind to hold his things for me. I I had information he needed. His father had sent him money through I think it was Western Union, and I had the number. And so he was continually calling and texting. Part of it was, "I love you. I'm sorry. Please come back." And the other half was, "You stupid B word. I need my stuff and I need my money." I I didn't respond. His two family members did reach out and call. I didn't respond to them either. I did not reach out until after I left this state of Tennessee and felt safe in North Carolina. And I got in touch with my best friend and let her know that I was safe. I was in North Carolina. She could go ahead and let him know where his things were and give him the number that he needed to get his money. But I couldn't get in touch with her. So I did end up, no, I didn't call. I think I sent a text and I gave him the name of the business and the address where he could get his things. And I gave him the confirmation number to the Western Union. And I figured that was it. That's all he wanted was that information, and I wouldn't hear from him again. I was wrong. Uh, he did continue to call and text. And as I was about to leave North Carolina and enter into Virginia, he sent a text threatening to unalive himself. I called the male cousin that he feared would seduce me. And I didn't want to say exactly what was going on, but he was just kind of like, "Just tell me what's going on." So I did. I said, "He hit me." And I left. And now he's threatening to unalive himself. And I cannot help him. So I'm passing this situation on to you. I don't know what was said during the conversation between the two of them, but he sent me a text message afterwards. He was very angry and said that this male cousin had accused him of being under the influence. Let's put it that way. And so he was mad. And I was fine with that because I figured angry people just stay angry. They don't unalive themselves. So he can be mad. I'd rather him be ticked at me than not here. And that was Thursday evening. And as I said, we spoke off and on Friday. He said he went to an anger management class. He wanted me to come back. And I just knew that I couldn't. Not unless something drastically changed. He needed to make some serious changes before I could trust that he would not hurt me emotionally or physically. And then he was gone. And then I had to explain to his various family members what happened. And that was tough because I was not there. And I had committed to being there and protecting him, even if that meant protecting him from himself. Mm. But I had to walk away because I chose me. He asked, what can I do to make you come back? And I said, undo what you did. He's like, what do you mean? I said, you are the one who talked about me to your cousin. Undo what you did. Turn around, have a conversation with her, and tell her the truth. And he acted like he didn't know what that meant. So if he had lived, he would have, as big as he was, been more fearful of coming clean than of losing me. I don't think he would have had a problem owning up to what he did and changing what was necessary in him in order for us to have a relationship. But I don't know if it would have been enough to sustain a relationship. He had a lot of trauma. I regret not having him arrested. I said I was a smart girl. I am. I knew what I needed to say so that he would not be arrested. Um, and I sometimes wonder um, if I told the truth and said exactly what happened and let him be arrested, if he would still be here. I don't blame myself for his death, and he may have lived past Saturday, but he might not have. He may have lived past Saturday and ended up passing away eventually a month or two, a year or two later. I don't know. But his demons were a lot bigger than I knew. He was struggling with issues I didn't know about. Um, I could not save him. Ultimately, I I feel he's at peace. I have dreams about him. I opened my phone on my birthday and uh, there was actually a message from him. And, I like to think that he's here with me in spirit. And as I go on my way, I don't ask myself, are you happy anymore? Because I am. I still think that was a God thing. Clearly, it was not in God's plan for us to get married. Otherwise, he'd still be here and we'd be married. He came into my life because I needed to know what real love looked like. Shaquille O'Neal's ex-wife said that she did not know what real love was until she met her current husband. And I completely understood what she meant. I had been in love before, of course, but I was in love for what I knew love to be in that moment in time. I had never felt about a man the way I did about my deceased fiance. I had never felt that connection before, and it was amazing. But I have mentioned time and time again, I am a bad picker. And I think God wanted me to see what love does not look like. Sure, I may end up falling in love and marrying a man who does struggle with mental illness. He may hurt my feelings, but it won't be a situation where it's abusive. I don't think I'm supposed to be with a man that's going to hurt me. I don't think I'm supposed to sacrifice my mental well being in order to be with anyone, be it the man that I'm in love with or friends that no longer should have a place in my life or family members. If you cannot respect me, if you cannot love me as I am, then you do not need to be in my life. I don't need you in my life. And I think that for him, he said he had been in love 3 times. And I was the third woman that he had ever loved. And he had never experienced the type of love that I showed him. I I think that was a gift to him from God that he got to experience just pure love and joy and someone being good to him just because, before he left, he got to experience that. And I'm happy he got to experience that. I learned a lot. I learned that my deal breaker list needs to be a lot longer than not being okay with someone putting my name in their mouth. Oh boy, I, you know, I, I'm getting older and I'm educated and I'm African American woman, and so the pickings are slim. That's what I was told. And, my standards can't be but so high. But I didn't really have many standards before. I wanted to be loved and I wanted to love someone. What I learned was it was okay to love myself. I would love to be in love, but I know what I bring to the table. I'm not one of those ride or die women. I'm not. I'm a ride or live. Okay? If I love you, you are going to know I love you by the way that I treat you. It doesn't matter if you're my man or friend or family member, you will see my love through my actions. And I think I deserve a man that loves me so much that words aren't enough, that his love will be reflected in his actions as well. I learned that I do deserve that. And if I never find it, that's okay. I have learned that it's okay just being alone. I'm not lonely. I don't have to settle. I have friends. I have hobbies. I enjoy my own company. Have all the time. So, maybe God will bring a man into my life and he will be someone that I can, walk down the aisle to. It will only happen with a man who deserves my love. I think it's very brave when we as women look at our lives and realize that a change needs to be made, especially if that comes to some type of abuse. It's not easy walking away, especially when life has made the situation comfortable. I had a man once tell me, he judged me, and he said, "You like abuse." I said, "No, I don't." He said, "No, you do." No, I do not. I don't know any woman who likes to be hit. I don't know any woman who likes to be called out her name. I don't know any woman who likes being with a man who controls her with money because she has their children to feed. And he will walk with his check instead of feeding his kids. I haven't met a woman that said it was a pleasurable experience yet. And it certainly wasn't a pleasurable experience for me. So, for anyone who's gotten this far, if you find the strength to leave, I encourage you to do so. I encourage you to have a plan. He will take your phone. That's happened to me before. He will call your friends and family. My deceased fiance called my bestie when I left. He'll call his friends and family. He'll look for you. And if you have children together, oh my goodness, it will not be easy. But you can do it. You can be brave. You can be strong. A woman once told me, "You'll get stronger." And she was right. I did get stronger. And I was able to walk away from quite a few situations. Don't be afraid to choose you. I'm going to schedule a live where we can get together and we can discuss being strong, walking away, and doing what's best for us and our children, as opposed to men that we love who don't love us enough to love us the right way. You can contact me via my email. All of that information is in the description box. Please like, share, subscribe. Thank you for making it to this point in the video. I really appreciate you guys. So, y'all pray for me, and I'm gonna pray for y'all. And if you're not the praying type, send me some good vibes, and I'll do the same. Be blessed.